Hi loves, welcome back to my channel. We're going to be talking about something very important today. You've watched all my content, you've learned what your frequency is, you've learned about your vibration. After all of the time you've invested in yourself, all of the healing, the inner work, all of the podcasts you've listened to, the books you've read, it's time to discuss how to nourish and protect your frequency. You now understand that your frequency is what creates your reality. It is what you frequently see. In order to nourish and protect your frequency, you have to use it with discernment. But in order to do that effectively, you have to get rid of subconscious wounds. Subconscious wounds is what creates the lens that you see life through. These wounds are what's stored in your subconscious mind, all of the limiting beliefs, the trauma, the negative emotions. If you don't heal these wounds, you will have wounded discernment and you will be working against your frequency. So why these wounds are important is because these wounds block your energy centers. Okay, that wasn't so bad. We have our 7 energy centers. The subconscious wound creates blocks that does not allow energy to flow through, corrupting your frequency. We have the root. These are known as chakras, by the way. Your 7 main energy centers are called chakras. We have the root, the sacral, our solar plexus, the heart chakra, our throat chakra, the third eye, and last is the crown. So when you have wounds in your subconscious mind, they close off these energy centers and it does not allow energy to properly move through you. It's the subconscious wounds that work against you, work against your frequency. And you cannot have these wounds trapped or blocking your energy centers, or else the discernment you use to try to protect your frequency will work against you. You're creating a low vibrational frequency. It will cause you to wear the lens. Your perspective on all things will be wounded. It will have the wrong fuel behind it. Something absolutely magical that I've discovered. Let me clear the board. Something absolutely insane that I've discovered that I haven't seen anyone talk about yet. Oh. So as you know, alignment is required. Spiritual and physical alignment is required for manifestation. And what I've realized is spiritual is just another word for the energy. Having the right energy and emotion to fuel the aligned action, which translates to the subconscious and the conscious mind. The subconscious mind represents the feminine and the conscious represents masculine. The recipe for manifestation: spiritual plus physical alignment, the perfect harmony of the two. Spiritual just represents the energy and emotion. Physical alignment is just aligned action. It is nothing more than your subconscious mind in unison with the conscious mind. When these are in perfect harmony, this is the recipe for manifestation. You must always have the right energy to fuel the aligned action. Subconscious wounds is what creates the wrong energy, the wrong fuel behind the aligned action. If you are a gym rat and you have a bad diet but go to the gym 5 days a week, you're not going to get your desired physique because you have the wrong fuel. It is the subconscious wounds that does not allow the right fuel, the right spiritual alignment to pair with the physical action. And when you don't have the right energy, your chakras are blocked, you have the subconscious wounds. This creates stress, it creates fatigue, autoimmune diseases, because what happens if a woman has these blocks, she is more likely to step into her masculine energy because she's in survival mode. And when a man who is normally operating in his masculine energy has these subconscious wounds, it causes him to operate fully in his feminine energy because it is wounded masculine energy, causing the roles of men and women to switch. This is what creates survival mode. This is what creates stress, cardiovascular diseases, etc. This is why we see more feminine men nowadays and we see masculine women. Majority of society in the Western part of the world are all in the opposite role because of the way things are nowadays. Manifestation is the unison between feminine and masculine energy. The subconscious and the conscious mind in unison, having the right energy to fuel the aligned action. When you are in complete alignment with your spiritual and physical alignment, you are in the right frequency. Your state of being is leading for you, not just your effort. This is also why yin and yang, it's the same concept. Perfect harmony between the both. This is why God created Eve from the rib of Adam. In Genesis chapter 2:18, it is the first time that the Bible introduces the woman, and it's because God knew that Adam needed an equivalent helper, is the word that was used. Do not let your unconscious mind get triggered by that word. The Hebrew word for helper is known as Ezer, which God is described as Ezer throughout a few Psalm verses in the Bible. But the only way to have the right fuel, to use your discernment properly, is to get rid of the subconscious wounds. It is inner work that releases those subconscious wounds. Inner work is the process of releasing those wounds, releasing the trapped emotion and limiting beliefs, trauma stuck in the body that has created a glass ceiling over our heads, put a box over our heads, so you can remove that negative perspective, the lens that you wear, to be able to see life differently. And that's truly when your second life begins. So the first step to protect your frequency is to get rid of subconscious wounds and use discernment to honor your frequency. As you go throughout life, you interact with people, conversations, you consume things. The biggest thing you have to understand is that every single thing that you consume is an energy exchange. You watching this video, you are receiving my energy. Everything you consume, whether that is food, what you watch on TV, the books you read, you are all consuming these things that will make up your energy, and you must choose wisely which energy you want to consume. This is also true for intimacy. So you really have to use discernment to look at the things you're potentially considering to exchange energy with and decide, is this worth the price of my frequency? Or is my brain choosing this for comfort? Is what I'm consuming actually going to benefit my frequency? Or is this going to bring me back to my old frequency that I'm trying to shake? Because my brain identifies with what's familiar. It identifies with the past. It identifies with the old frequency because you've carried that old frequency for years. It has become an identity. It is an energetic imprint that you held for a long time. So you have to make the conscious efforts and the conscious thoughts to identify the things you consume, because you're ultimately playing a game against your brain and your nervous system. So let's talk about your nervous system. Your old frequency is connected with your nervous system. They are operating in the same field within the old frequency because they've been wired and hardwired together for years. You've embodied that old reality, the past, for so long. You have to create the safe space for your nervous system, aka your inner child, to feel safe with the change you are putting in front of it. The unknown is scary to your old frequency, scary to your inner child and your nervous system. And as you make the conscious effort to use your frequency with discernment to make choices on what to consume, foods to eat, or new habits to embody, you have to show your nervous system that it is safe with you. So how do we create this safe space? You have to become your own parent. I want you to think about it like your inner child still exists within you. Your inner child is always looking to you. It is your inner child screaming out, is this okay? Is this safe? This new thought, this new action you're taking towards, like, what are we doing here? So you have to create the safe space and remind your inner child that it is safe with you. This looks like using discernment. This looks like evaluating everything you are consuming, setting boundaries, creating limits, and following through on your word. Otherwise, your inner child is not going to listen to you. Having a quick cutoff rate to know when you're in an environment or exchanging energy with a person and you can see that this exchange is harming your frequency. It is disturbing your peace, your energy. I also want to throw in here, I am not the one to say that you have to stop listening to music or you can't go to the club on the weekend. It's really a matter of you knowing yourself because everyone is different. The number one thing I want you all to know is that you are your best teacher. Your body will tell you. Your intuition will tell you if what you are doing is something you shouldn't be doing. What you are consuming is something you should stop consuming. I never want you to watch my content or come to me and be so dependent, like, is this bad for me? Should I stop doing this? Or, I love this guy, but he keeps making me feel like. Your body knows. And you have to truly welcome the energy of your body and your intuition, because your intuition is the God mind that will tell you exactly which step to take, what's good for you and what's not good for you. It's a matter of knowing yourself, knowing the wounds that you've overcome, and using your discernment to see, okay, I can't listen to this song anymore because it holds energy and memories with that triggers me. Or I can't participate in these certain activities anymore because I notice that it makes my energy vulnerable. I don't feel as confident and as grounded when I do these things. So it's different for everyone. Simply just consider the low vibrational emotions in the map of consciousness: anger, shame, guilt, grief, fear. And whatever you are consuming, use your discernment to see, is this triggering any of these emotions? If they are, then maybe let it go. Choose a new perspective because it's not serving you. And clearly, if you're getting triggered, then there's still a wound that's active. The last tip, which is a very difficult concept I know a lot of people struggle with, to protect your frequency, is mastering the art of allowing. The art of allowing is just the process of becoming a vibrational match to your desire by releasing resistance and aligning with well-being. I have this quote that I've written down. It is something I said in an old video that I feel like captures it and answers questions that people has. So I'm just gonna repeat. I wrote it down here for you guys. I'm gonna repeat this quote I've said. You hold the keys to your own freedom. Freedom is the freedom from resistance. Resistance can only be self-applied. Other people can behave in ways that are unpleasing, but it's up to me to choose what to focus on. But how can I focus on positive things when all of these things are going on around me? You must decide. Decide that you can either focus on the problems or you can focus on the solution. For me, it feels better to focus on the solution. Some people might say, how can you be so selfish? How can you put your head in the sand and ignore everything going on in this world, all the evil in this world? My answer is that I'm aware of it. In fact, like you, I was born to notice it. I was born to choose what feels best to me. I see plenty of things that I don't want to perpetuate, so I choose not to get stuck in the vibration of that anymore. I move quickly from what I don't want to what I do want, and I do my best to practice the vibration of what I do want. You have to understand, you are always attracting. Your frequency never just turns off, right? Energy is always in motion. Your state of being, your overall aura, your frequency is what leads for you. Effort doesn't matter. If you have the wrong energy behind the effort, you're not going to get that physique we've talked about for the bodybuilder. And you also have to understand that the wrong fuel, the negative emotion that may be surfacing while you are perceiving something in front of you, is a guidance system. You are blessed with something that is called an emotional guidance system. Your emotions are a tool that can help you determine with whatever it is you're consuming is beneficial for you or not, if the perspective you are having is beneficial for you or not. Negative emotion is resistance from whatever is being perceived in the present moment. The resistance you feel in that moment is your guidance to recalibrate what it is you're focusing on, what perspective you're having on the situation, to realign your focus, retune back into that frequency, that higher version of you, your dream woman, your best self. How are they handling this situation that is now in this moment giving me anger, giving me this negative resistance I feel? How is that version of me handling this? You always have to consciously put the effort to pull yourself back to your vision. The art of allowing is simply understanding why people behave and make choices in the ways that they do. And something that I struggled with for a long time, understanding that people are doing the best they can with what they know. And you have to detach the normal definition of the word best and the emotion wrapped around that word, because this is what has caused me in the past to sit here and say things like, how could you have done this? If I was you, I never would have handled it in this way. It makes no sense. That's what creates the anger, the frustration, right? You have to see every person with that inner child within them, because truthfully, it's the inner child that's wounded, and it's just a little girl or a little boy, a wounded boy, that is causing this reaction, that is acting in this rage, causing them to handle the situation in the ways that they are. And seeing that visualization is what has allowed me to forgive, to let go, to release that resistance that is triggering that negative emotion within me. It's not about allowing people to behave in ways that hurt you. You are not a doormat. And this does not mean you tolerate behaviors that corrupt you, that harm you mentally or physically. So don't get it twisted. You always have to protect your frequency, but also yourself. You do not allow anyone to walk over you, to hurt you, or mistreat you. I just got to make that clear because I don't want anyone to get confused. Remember, you have to create that safe space for you to thrive, to create, to be able to have the desire and will to go out and pursue things, to do things you've never done. You have to have the safe space that allows your inner child to see, okay, this new belief feels good. This new life we want for ourselves feels safe. So that way you can have the proper fuel to fuel the action. This is how you nourish and protect your frequency. This is how you step into embodiment and step into that desired reality. When you release the resistance that your inner child feels, what your mind identifies with, when you let go of all of that, when you heal the subconscious wounds, this is when you embody the correct state of being. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I will see you in the next one.